What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So this video is definitely a more opinion-based video. Definitely a not a subjective video. This is my opinion about the MP5 platform. And keep in mind, guys, I will say this right now before I continue on. The MP5, hands down, is my favorite SMG of all time. So let me start by saying that. I am indeed a fan of the MP5 platform. However, there's a couple of things I do want to discuss, a couple of things I want to point out, and even talk about my experience with them. Now, moving forward, some of y'all might be wondering, what experience do you have with MP5s? And I've shot a couple of different MP5 clones. Have I gotten to shoot the original? No. However, I can say one of the clones I've shot, a majority of the parts other than the receiver were HK parts anyways. So what can I say about the platform? It is phenomenal. It is, soft shooting platform. It is fun to shoot. I mean, especially in its actual configuration where you're shooting automatic, it's extremely fun and it's a phenomenal gun, especially for the task that it's been used for. Now, moving on to the other part. If it's not in its full auto configuration, I'm really not a fan of the platform. Some people might be wondering, well, why is that? And it has nothing to do with the platform itself, but more so, I guess you could argue, the trigger. A lot of people don't realize that the MP5 trigger wasn't made to, do double taps. It wasn't made for, really rapid firing if it's a semi-auto MP5. That's one of the issues here, is that you're taking a gun and essentially just limiting its potential, which then makes it really be something that it's just not as good. I'm sorry, but who needs a 9mm MP5 platformed PCC? Yes, they look cool, but do you need one? No, not really. Do you need an MP5, a real MP5 that can shoot full auto, like an unneutered version? Yeah, I would argue that's much more of a need than a semi-autoed version. I don't know how to explain it. The trigger's just not good for semi-auto fire. That's the best way to explain it. A lot of people, when they shoot the MP5, they're basically their plan is to spray. Why? Because the MP5 platform is supposed to be a submachine gun. It is supposed to have automatic capabilities. Okay, so since it's supposed to have automatic capabilities, making sure that it will only fire in semi-auto is, excuse me, is simply just limiting the gun. It is simply neutering the gun, if you would. Do I like the MP5 platform? Yes, 100%. Do I like the MP5 as a submachine gun? Yes, it is my favorite submachine gun of all time. Do I like it as a PCC? No, not really. I mean, that's kind of I don't know. It's such a weird, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't do it for me as a PCC. Yes, I like the look of the MP5. Of course, no denying that. However, I also like the functionality of it as well. I like the aspect of, okay, this submachine gun is, one, pretty much the best on the planet. Two, is going to be very, very, very easy to shoot because I'm going to slap that trigger once, hold it there, and dump these rounds out. However, when we're talking about as a PCC, so semi-auto, we're now dealing with an MP5 trigger that was made to be an SMG trigger. Some people might be wondering, well, what does that matter? Well, if you guys have shot automatics, you guys would know realistically why sometimes that makes a difference. For example, another example here, we'll take the grease gun. I've shot in a true, real deal grease gun, automatic and all. I can tell you right now that that trigger is not fun for semi-auto. It's just, that's a very common theme we see with SMGs, is that their semi-auto counterparts just they don't hold up. They just don't do as good of a job. And unfortunately, the MP5 is no better in this situation. It doesn't rise above. Can I say out of all the SMGs that you would find, which one I would like the best? I mean, I guess it would be an MP5. However, I can still say that as a PCC, as a semi-auto pistol caliber carbine, I'm not a fan of the MP5. I'm not a fan really of any submachine gun that's been turned into a semi-auto gun, just because of the fact that if you want to actually stay true to the blueprint of the submachine gun, then it's just not going to be fun to shoot in semi-auto. It's going to be irritating to shoot in semi-auto. However, it's just something that we do have to deal with. It's going to be very irritating, but there's too much of a demand for PCCs that look like SMGs. Yes, an SMG, look, and their MP5s in particular, hands down, best SMG on the planet. Nobody can debate me on that. And if anybody really wants to, I mean, you're going to waste your time. You're not going to make me change my mind, but you can try. My whole point, though, is that the MP5 in particular, phenomenal submachine gun, greatest of all time, in my opinion. As a pistol caliber carbine, it's awful. The trigger's awful. It's not exactly made to be fired in semi-auto. Some people might be arguing, well, what do you mean it's not made to be fired in semi-auto? It has a semi-auto option. I don't mean in that capacity. I mean simply in the capacity that the platform itself, realistically speaking, was made to be a submachine gun. There's good reason to it. People built the features for that submachine gun around the fact that it would be firing automatic. It wouldn't be, firing semi-auto, it would be firing full auto. So since I just don't get how people couldn't understand this. But with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I'm not going to keep going in circles here. However, I think I've somewhat gotten my point across here. This definitely is more of a rant video, definitely more of an opinion-based video or a subjective video instead of an objective video. However, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys have any experience with MP5s, go ahead and comment down below. If you have experience with an unneutered, a legitimate MP5, comment down below. And then also comment down below if you have any experience with this, just the semi-auto MP5 platformed guns out there. The Zenith, any of the MP5 clones. Go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. But with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all in. Whether or not you agree with me about my thoughts on the MP5 platform in this case, because I understand this is a very unpopular opinion. A lot of people, they're like, hey, I love the MP5. There's nothing wrong with it. However, for me, it's simply just the fact that if we're not dealing with a real unneutered MP5, it's just not going to be that great in my opinion. Why is that? Once again, the trigger is essentially just made to be in a submachine gun. That's plain it. That's the biggest deal right there. Because if you don't have any kind of, decent trigger, like even the slightest form of a decent trigger, then guess what? You're not really going to be able to go semi-auto and do that great of a job. But regardless, I'm getting off topic here. Go ahead and comment down below your thoughts, whether or not you agree with me about my opinions on the MP5. And then, with that being said, make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.